and it looks like it's going to have to be modified straight out of the packet. What's unusual about that? So today I'm going to pressure test my turbo piping and intercooler. To do that, I'm going to use these PVC end pieces. These have already been modified because I've used them in the past. This one has your standard air fitting on it and will plug straight into here, and you can push air straight into your system. Not really advisable. I made this and then used my air line regulator to regulate the amount of pressure that I had in the system, and it worked, but this one's much better, well, easier in a way. Now I looked on the internet to find out how to make these. It wasn't my idea, and they suggested using something like this. You see that? That's a regular car tire valve, wheel valve. But the problem that I had with it was that the sealing part is what's a good 16 millimeters, which means that I'm going to need a 16 millimeter drill bit to get that to go into here. And well, if you don't have a 16 mil drill bit, well, you can't use that. This one is from a BBS wheel, I'm told. I paid $2 for it, and it's 9 millimeters, which every single multi-piece drill set should have in it. So you just drill a 9 mil hole, put this in, it screws in from the back. You see that? I'm not sure if you can see that. Screws in like that, and it's done, and that seals. So this is one end. At the other end, all I use is another one of these that doesn't have a hole in it, clamp it in, and I can pressurize the system. Now the way I do that now is I use a tire gauge. Now this one's not fantastic because like its starting pressure is 0.7 bar, which is a little bit high for a starting pressure. But I just give it a little bit of a tap just to get a tiny little bit of air in there, and then you can listen for leaks. And then I crank it up to 0.7 or even a 1 bar. It would be nice if I had something with a little bit lower numbers on it, but you know, this does the trick. So I will need to put my fitting that I showed you earlier on here, and then block off the other end over at the throttle body here. And I will also need to block off the blow-off valve and the oil catch tank, which is this one here. Here we are at the catch tank. It's a Greddy unit. I can't remember what it was off. I think it was like an R32 Skyline or something. But yeah, I'll just pop this off here and block that off. That's loose. Wiggle that off. Now we need to block that off. Now you can use anything you like to block that off. And just make sure you do it up tight so that it doesn't leak. You can use one of these if it fits. I'm going to use this one. This is a little special tool that I made. While I've got it in my hand, I guess I'll explain it to you. This is a torque wrench. This allows you to set the specific amount of torque you put on a bolt, which, if you don't know what that means, it means how tight are you making the bolt. With this, you can know how tight you've got it. But one of the problems is if you don't have these are for Allen key headed bolts. Right? If you don't have these, and all you have is a set of these, well then you can't torque anything. You can't use this tool because there's no adapter for it. Well, now there is. You put the Allen key head inside this hole and it goes into that slot. This goes into your torque wrench, and now you can use your regular Allen keys and torque them. Just an idea that I came up with being frustrated with not being able to torque up Allen key headed bolts. You can get long ones as well, but sometimes this way is just better using this. But yeah, that's that tool. But for now, I'm going to use this to block up that catch tank hose. Alright, that's in there tight. Now, one thing that I will stress is that you have to put this facing away from anything, because this is going to be under pressure, and if this comes out, it's going to come out like a bullet. Right? So you want to tuck it away. Even that's enough. I mean, that's going to fire out and then hit the underside of my tray, but it's not going to dig itself into my shin. And, you know, that'll be fine. Next up is removing the filter, and I've already undone the hose clamp down there. So I'll wiggle that out. Blam. Now I need to block this one off. Now I will be using this, and as you can see, that's not going to work. So, how are you going to do that? Well, I'll show you. Now, it's quite well known that I don't throw anything away. I did not throw away this scrap piece of silicone hose. Now this fits perfectly inside there. Now if I hose clamp that, that will seal. Now what I'm going to do is put this in here, and that will seal. Ta-da! I use this socket extension to block this off, and as you can see I've tucked it away under there, so if it flies out under pressure it will not go anywhere near me. Okay, so the hose to the throttle body is blocked off, and we'll tuck that away under there. That shouldn't be able to get at me. Okay, with everything blocked off, we're ready to look for leaks. To find leaks, we're going to listen for the hiss of the air escaping, and we're also going to use a spray bottle full of very soapy water. Once you spray this on the joints or wherever you want to test, it will bubble, and the bubbles will tell you have a leak. So let's do that. Back up to 1 bar. And it's going down steadily. Here we go. We have a leak. This is a spot I previously repaired with JB Weld steel stick, and obviously it's not sealed, so I'll grind that off and I'll try it again. After grinding it off, I found that there was like a crack there right in the corner, so I just stacked some JB Weld steel stick. I'll show you what that actually looks like. This stuff. This was recommended to me by a friend. I looked on the internet and they said don't do this, but you know what? We're going to do it. See if we can get it to work. The number of times I've been told by the internet that stuff doesn't work, and I've made it work, I've lost count. So we're going to try this If it doesn't work, I'll grind it off and try something else. I can't weld it, don't have the equipment for that. So it's either this or buy a new intercooler. And while they're only, well, they sort of start at about $35, I guess, but, or 3,500 yen. But still, I don't really want to buy another one. And who's to say that the one that I buy to replace this is going to be any good? So, yeah, try this. In the words of Daryl, it'll be fine. While I'm waiting for the intercooler to be usable again, which will take about 4 hours, I'll show you this. I've already put a photo of this on Instagram, but we'll go into a little bit more detail with it here. After I made this, I found out you could buy a kit that just bolts on, but this is just your regular, everyday suction cup car phone mount thing. And I just very simply removed the regular threaded handle that goes under here and put a bolt in it. Nylock nut, cost me nothing. This was falling off, so I put some CA glue in there, but yeah, now that works. So that's upped my filming game. This is my custom-made side brake, also known as an e-brake. And I don't know whether I was doing this in the first video or what, but I made this as the button. And it works, but I'm not happy with it. So I started using this, which is, here's one I prepared earlier. It's a bolt off a bunk bed that I had, and it's just got thread on one end and then Allen head on the other end. Originally, when I first had the idea to start this, I planned on using this, which is a snapped extension, but I lost it. Then after finishing all this, I found it again. So what I'll do is I'll draw a line from this corner to this corner and then one from there to there, finding the center, then drill it, tap it, and it should go straight in and sit like that. It's cool because it's got Astro products written on it, and yeah, it should be quite nice to use. Well guys, I've decided that I'm going to end the video there. This has taken quite a few days to put together for various reasons. I just haven't had time to sit down and edit this all together. But now that I've got spare time in between the intercooler setting and I've got various projects going on. I've got a fiberglassing project. I've got the button that I'm going to make. There's a lot of projects going on all at once, and if I keep adding them to the one video, well, I'm never going to finish it. So I'm going to end it there. I've got a lot more content coming out, as I said, so come back and check it out. I'll see you later.